Inside this humble dwelling, it's hard to believe that you would actually find the Shaken Bozemen. Are they just another rock and roll band, or are they more? Could they possibly be one of the last American icons? To answer these questions, we will talk to the Shaken Bozemen, the people who love them, and the people they love. As we walk inside the house, the sound of melodic sounds emanate from around. Here we have the groupies, waiting for a chance to see their men. Let's see if we can find the boys. The music gets louder. Damn! Ah well, let's check it out.
Tiny bit slower, don't you think? Just a tad bit? It can be all the power, but just a little bit slower.
Here we find the 3 remaining members of the Shaken Bozemen. On drum, pounding, Pete Morose. Man of few words, but loud actions. On guitar, making a special appearance,
I got my good luck
Jimmy
roll here.
Jukebox.
Yeah. It's gonna bring me good luck tonight.
And on bass, Mike Jam Master Reed.
Look at the form. He's got a great form.
The form that has been non-existent until today.
The form of a decade. It's back.
So what do you
It's Shaken Bozemen Mach 3.
Well, I'm
a new punk band with you.
A little more control this time, but
Reincarnation.
Yeah, I
it
think
is a little
Like the
neuromuscular
phoenix rising
coordination
from the
within
ashes
me.
soon.
It will come.
this time
Joey.
Oh, it's still light. I love it when it's light and it's late.
All right, preparation H for Homo Biblicans.
That's right. The crew that grew with the Bible.
Go ahead and talk. Man.
No.
Come on, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, check it out.
All right. Hey, that sounds kind of special. Hey. When my friends go down by the river, they read from the Bible. They're the campus crusade for me. A campus crusade for me. Sorry. Check. Here.
We're here for the second part of the rockumentary on the Bozemen with mongrel Pete Morose, the drummer. Pete, tell us, what do you do in your spare time?
Well, I've been working on some new masturbation techniques. Kind of the old, just kind of a stroke. You just like to kind of just stroke and caress it while you work it.
Stroke and caress.
None of the hard and stuff like that. You like to stroke it like a dog, like a pet, like it's man's best friend. You just kind of stroke
Well,
it.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've just been working on that. And then I've also been doing some origami.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
What is your best memory of the Bozemen?
Well, that would have to be, when I think of the Bozemen, I always remember our very first show up in the Bozemen Towers. It was a magical evening and the planets were aligned and we really sucked. But it was magical and a lot of people were there and it was just a good time. And I also remember probably one of the worst shows that we ever did, but it was kind of fun because I was really wasted. And I got in front of the drum sets. Maybe many of you might remember that. I started playing the drums. I got up and went around the drums and played in the front, and I was really drunk. It was a horrid night, but the next night was fun. It was good.
Okay. As we know, tonight we're going to be without one of the Bozemen. How will Rick be missed the most?
Just keep Rick was the heart and soul. Remember when Rick used to come to the shows, and he'd be wearing his tweed tan pants and his penny loafers and his nice little cotton cardigan sweaters. And he'd look just like an engineer, like he is right now. And then the next thing you know, the next time we play, Rick he'd be in bare feet and he'd be dancing around. He'd be dancing around and he'd just be all over the place and he couldn't stop, and we turned into a wild man, and he was brilliant, and he gave me this energy to go on, and it was wonderful, because I look at Rick and I'd see him getting into it and grooving, and it'd get me going too, because I love to see that, because Mike and Jim would just be standing there. But that's okay. And we just love our Rick's doing it. Now he's gone.
Where is he?
I don't know. Somewhere.
Which Bozeman song has the most meaning for you, the Mongrel Morose?
Ah, shit. How about the one that I like to play the best? See, a lot of the songs, because I'm not very that good, so a lot of the stuff that I do is just your basic kind of beat, but there's some songs that I like to get into. There's some songs like Those Meat Machines and Bill Stew and Magic Potion. I kind of do some groovy kind of little beats that are a little bit, off rhyme, off pace, and it kind of gives me a little chance to experiment, so I like that. So those are some of my favorites.
Okay. Anybody that's been to Bozeman shows knows of your relationship with Sigmund. What is the fondest memory of that intimate relationship you have with Sigmund?
Oh man, Sid and Marty Croft, man, I love them. I remember when I was a little kid, Sigmund the Sea Monster was my hero, man. I was getting beat up by his evil brothers, and he walking around, and he'd always pick up the phone and he'd go, "Hello, Sigmund?" That would be his dad, and I just loved it. And what the hell was that? His little friend Johnny, the kid with the red head.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Sigmund, man. And then they always used to go in the cave, and his dad and everyone would yell at him, and then there'd be a big octopus, and Sigmund would walking around. And I just loved him. He was just a sweet little sea monster. And I wrote a song about it because it was from my childhood.
Okay. The deep question of the day. If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? That's not a tree.
Sorry. Tree. Phone's ringing. If I was going to be a tree, it would be, these are hard questions. Probably, how about a weeping willow? Because we have one in our front lawn, and then my parents cut it down, and I liked it.
Okay. How do you feel about this final farewell show of the Bozemen?
I love the Bozemen. Mike and Jim and Dave, it's been so wonderful. Even though we've sucked, we've had a great following, and people like us, and we just wish that we could carry on. But since we have a bunch of tapes left over, people should buy some of our tapes to make next time.
Okay, one last final question for you, Pete. You talked about this being your last show and how you have enjoyed having the fans around. What do you want to say? Look right into the camera and tell your fans what you want to say to them before you go.
plastics. Thank you. I said it.
Next, we'll move on to our monster, Mike Reed, the bass player. Mike, tell us what you do in your spare time.
I'm a tadpole hunter. There's different larvae. Anyhow. So sometimes you can find me at Lake George, and other times you can find me at Frederick's Pond, out past the airport by the Johnson's Farm.
We'll keep that in mind. As you move into
But I
this-
also
I'm sorry, go ahead.
like to run a lot. You know, get out
You
there.
run to the
Physical
places
fitness
you look
stuff.
for tadpoles.
Sometimes.
Okay. As you move into this final farewell show of the Bozeman, what is your fondest memory of the Bozeman?
My fondest memory of the Bozeman. I have lots of fond memories of the Bozeman.
Give us a few of them.
I'm trying to think. We did a lot of drugs in the 60s, man. There were some good times with the Bozeman. There was a time that in the middle of a show I was playing the bass, dancing around, and I hit Jim in the head with the end of the neck or the bass. And there's another time when Rick was playing the guitar, jamming along, and all of a sudden, you know, Rick used to dance. He was jamming with the pick and the flick. I just looked over to see the pick go flying up over his head, and then Rick frantically looking around for it in the middle of the show. And there's 100,000 things the mongrel has done. Sigmund the Sea Monster is the most memorable.
Okay. Out of all the Bozeman songs, ones you've written and any song that you guys play, what is the one that means the most to you for one reason or another?
Probably those Meat Machines.
Why is that?
Well, I got good feedback from that. It's kind of the song that I put together. I wrote it on the bass, so it started simple, it stayed simple, but yet we could incorporate good harmony, which is my favorite thing. And I was writing about an experience that had actually happened to me, but I was able to mix that real life, actually mostly mundane experience working at Appert's, the meat production area. Take that experience and actually transform it into an art form. And I like that song.
As do your fans.
Thank you.
Tonight Rick is going to be gone. The family Rickster. How is that going to affect the Bozeman? What's going to be different because Rick's not here?
Rick Pearson? You know, it's kind of funny. I can't really say that I ever even looked at the Rick in a Bozeman concert. Not that he wasn't appreciated. The rhythm was there, but Jim was between me and Rick was far away. I will miss just having another guy around, you know, the camaraderie, and I guess I'll miss his movements. Rick really knew how to move in a most uncoordinated but yet uninhibited fashion. He was brilliant.
Okay, Mike, here's the biggie. If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Be a weeping willow.
Can you tell us why?
Because I always think of them as kind of just big old nice sort of dude guys, but with a lot hanging over their head and something to often be sad about.
Deep.
Or I'd be a big old oak with crooked fingers, the type you see in front of the moon on Halloween. Yeah. Oak trees are mysterious to me.
Okay, with each of the Bozemen, we kind of have something that we think of when we look at you. For the monster, it's beer. In and out of Bozeman, it's beer.
There you go, Mom.
What influence has your love for beer had on your playing, on the Bozeman? What does it mean to you?
Beer? Well, boy, I really like beer. And when I was in England, we had a yearbook, and everyone had a quote in there, right? And mine was lager, 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 and it was as simple as that. And my mom thought maybe I'd been the group alcoholic, which isn't by no means true, but I like beer. Anyhow, beer is the mystery of the malt. It often initiates the magic of the night. I can't say that beer's had any good influences on the actual music directly. It loosens me up, I'm able to perform and have a good time, but usually in the end it's a catastrophe. It destroys me, and I've been to the point where I can't see the fretboard, and it's really bad.
Minor technicalities.
Minor technicalities. At the other end of it, a lot of the music that we put out throughout the years has included beer, included the pub, included the bar, included the barmaid. So beer has played a vital role in the actual material or harmonious matrix of the composition.
Alrighty. How does it feel to be playing your final farewell show?
Well, it doesn't bring a tear to my eye. In a way, it's a relief. But in the back of my head, I always know that 10 months down the road, let's get a keg. And yeah, Jim's coming up, let's play. You know, it could happen. However, this ideal setting will no longer exist. So where? Maybe at Karen Perry's farm. Maybe not.
Pigs would like that.
Pigs would like that. But it's time to move on. People's lives are changing, going our own direction. But I can tell you, the band may be going, but the music will always be here.
Okay, one last thing.
Yes.
You had a big following, fans that have followed you throughout the years. What would you like to say to those people that have been your fans?
I'd like to say, drink more beer. Thank you.
Really. Next, we're here with Jimmy Bjorklund, the lead vocalist and for the Bozemen. Jim, tell us what you do in your free time.
Well, I've got an exciting new company I just started up. I'm branching out in aromatherapy. It's a new concept I've just started, and I have yet to make it big, of course, but every day brings me a little closer to my goal. Pretty soon, it'll be a nation of aromatherapists.
Okay,
Thank you.
good luck.
Yeah.
What is your fondest memories of your time with the Bozemen?
Oh, the one time we all decided to get together and go paint the municipal water tower near Sauk Rapids. Wow, that was that was fun, I tell you. I think it was P actually who came up with the idea to make it look like a peacock. And so we got the yellow, the brown, and the maroon. We got the big ladder up from my parents' garage and painted it up. Right, I should add too. It was a learning experience for all of us. I remember the first person up the ladder said it best. He said, this really is a stupid idea, Jim. But
But you continued on.
yeah, we got it. I mean, you know, it took 3 days, you know, and we could only work under the veil of darkness. So, you know, we couldn't really see what we were doing either. And for 4 days before that, we had to lay tape, you know, so we didn't tape over any parts of the tower that we didn't want to get. So actually, and then the planning was about, you know, 2 months before that. So the whole project actually took about a year, but.
You put in more time doing that than you did practice for the Bozemen shows.
Oh, I know, yeah. I mean,
Definitely.
if we would have channeled our energy from that to the Bozemen, now we probably would be huge right now.
Probably would be playing in the basement.
No.
Okay,
sorry.
looking at all the Bozemen songs, which one means the most to you for one reason or another?
Well, I tell you, that's a good question. I didn't write very often songs about myself. It should be evident by reading the lyrics. I try to tackle big subjects, usually. Migrant workers, war. I try to tackle all the big ones, but you know, I was pretty successful too most of the time with those weighty subjects. But one time I veered away from that, and I wrote about something that happened to me once, actually, in England, I should say. And the song was Emerald Isle, and I can't go into it, but it speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Okay.
Thank you. It's a personal song.
Okay. Bringing up Emerald Isle, that's the song that Rick and Tina decided to have as their first dance together as husband and wife. Tonight the Rickster's not here with us. What difference is that going to make to the band?
That's a great segue there. That's
Gave it to me,
professionally done. God, you laid that card off the table. Okay, I'm sorry. What is the difference without Rick? Well, it's just a little bit quieter. And when I solo, all of a sudden, it seems like there's a lot less notes. and stuff going on, because all of a sudden the whole range of the guitar strum is gone. All of a sudden it's just one note. So it just creates a different situation that one must approach in a live situation, and that's pretty much the difference. Of course, the other difference is that Rick, he would always dress up so well. You know, you could always see Rick in a pleated dress shirt and a fitted dress cotton slacks and a pair of penny loafers. And that was before a big show too. For a small show, sometimes he would even wear suits and stuff like that. And well, you know, it was, sorry, yeah, it was great, man. It was great. He had it working.
Okay, Jim Bjorklund, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be and why?
I have to pick a tree?
A tree.
Damn, I hate the same questions. I'd pick a stump.
Can you elaborate? Or is that too personal?
One that got no, there's nothing personal about it. It's just the tree I would be. This is a stump, because you see, a stump, it's different than the other trees, yet at the same time it's very similar, isn't it? But it's a lot shorter, and if somebody cut it off, and you can see how old it is.
Okay. I could do a mean segue here, but I won't.
Stumpy?
No.
Okay.
When we think of Jim Bjorklund, we think women.
Thank you. It does not. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt your question. Sorry.
Tell us how the women at the shows affected you and how you affected them.
Oh, well, that's a good question. Well, I don't really remember actually too much of a two-way exchange happening. I remember gawking, staring, gazing at, fantasizing over a lot of women actually out in the audience and stuff, and I don't really actually ever remember any of them ever looking at me, but yeah, I remember that a couple of times I thought they were looking at me, but then it turned out that they weren't. So, you know, women, you know, what can you say about them? You know, they're tricky.
Okay. Moving into this last final farewell show.
Oh yeah.
How does it feel to have this be your last Bozeman show?
Well, it's a bittersweet experience, mostly sweet. It says a lot about the strength of our band as individuals and songwriters that 3 years later we can come up with a show that we've hardly even practiced for at all and still unveil 3 or 4 new tunes, you know, and there are songs that we wrote that, you know, never ever got, you know, even heard by anyone else in the band, you know. I guess they're just ideas that I have. I'm sure Mike has ideas like that too, that just never ever quite got out of the starting gate, you know. And I think we'll always be able to look back on those songs as remnants of the great structure that used to be the Shaken Bozemen. And so in that sense, there'll always be pieces of the Bozemen around.
Okay, there'll always be Bozemen around for your fans too, and even though you didn't have always, you know, 30,000 people there, you had enthusiastic, incredibly supportive fans that are sad to see you go. One last thing, what do you want to say to your fans?
Hi. No, I don't want to say that to my fans. Sorry. I take that back. Goodbye. No, I don't want to say that either. Take that back too. I want to say thanks for coming to the shows. Thanks for having fun. Thanks for supporting us through the rough times and the good times. And most of all, thanks for buying our tape.
Okay.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
the gate. They're out of the gate. And then they're into the first round.
Back in high school, Jim and I were going to become the new Beach Boys. Like the new kids on the block, we're going to be the new Beach Boys. Jim still plays guitar regularly, and oh hell, I went with science. But just to remember those days,
You go, guys.
Steve Miller. The beer smells like a mic. No, the other way around. faulty neuromuscular coordination connection right now, but.
It's fun and frolic.
Down by the riverside, the Homo Biblicans they reside. They read from the Bible and they laugh and play. Oh, what a glorious day. Sorry.
We're downstairs right now.
You guys gonna practice tonight?
Okay. No, we're not. We're just gonna do this.
Believe it or think.
Okay.